She wasn't supposed to be walking alone. That's what she'd tell herself later. That she knew better. That she'd heard the stories, read the statistics, felt that low hum of unease every woman carries when the sun goes down and the streets empty out. But it was only 3 blocks. 3 blocks from the coffee shop to her apartment. She'd done it 100 times. The neighborhood was supposed to be safe. People jogged here at night. Families lived here. She had her phone in her hand. Keys between her fingers like they taught in that self-defense class she took freshman year. She was being careful. She was doing everything right. The street was quiet. Too quiet. But that's what happens at 10:30 on a Tuesday. Most people were inside, winding down, getting ready for bed. The streetlights cast long shadows between the buildings. Her footsteps echoed off the brick walls. She kept her pace steady, not too fast, not too slow. Confident. That's what you're supposed to project. Confidence. She didn't see him at first. Not until she was passing the alley between the old hardware store and the dry cleaner. Then she felt it. That animal instinct that lives in the back of your brain. The one that's kept humans alive for thousands of years. The one that screams danger when your conscious mind hasn't caught up yet. She glanced to her right. Just a quick look. That's when she saw the shape. A man, standing just inside the alley entrance, mostly hidden in shadow. Not moving. Just standing there. Watching. If you're listening right now, help me prove something wrong. They said no one cares about stories of discipline, courage, and service. If you do, subscribe and stand with this channel. I enjoy stories more when I imagine them myself, so that's how I tell mine. This story isn't just meant to be watched. It's meant to be imagined. Her heart kicked up. She kept walking. Faster now. Not running. Running means you're prey. Running means you're scared. But faster. Her apartment was 2 blocks away. She could make it. She heard the footsteps behind her before she heard his voice. Heavy. Deliberate. Getting closer. Hey. She didn't turn around. That's what they want. Engagement. Acknowledgement. She kept walking. The footsteps got faster. Hey, I'm talking to you. Her hand tightened around her phone. 1 block left. She could see her building now, the warm glow of the lobby lights. So close. Then his hand was on her arm. Not grabbing. Not yet. Just touching. Making contact. Establishing control. She jerked away instinctively, spinning to face him. He was bigger than she'd thought. Broad shoulders, thick arms, the kind of build that came from manual labor or a gym obsession. His face was hard to make out in the dim light, but she could see his eyes. Cold. Flat. The kind of eyes that had already decided something. Don't be rude, he said. His voice was calm. Too calm. That's what scared her most. I just want to talk. I don't want to talk, she said. Her voice came out steadier than she felt. I want you to leave me alone. He smiled. Not a friendly smile. The kind that says he's enjoying this. Come on, he said. Don't be like that. His hand reached out again. This time she stepped back. He stepped forward. You seem tense, he said. I can help with that. No thank you, she said firmly. She tried to move around him. He blocked her path. Where are you going? He asked. We just met. Her heart was hammering now. The street was empty. Completely empty. Where was everyone? Why wasn't there a single car driving by, a single person walking their dog, a single witness? Please move, she said. I need to get home. He tilted his head. What's the rush? His hand shot out faster this time. He grabbed her wrist. Not hard enough to bruise, but firm enough that she couldn't pull away easily. She tried anyway. He held on. I said I just want to talk, he repeated. Why are you making this difficult? Let go of me, she said. Her voice was louder now. She didn't care about seeming scared anymore. She was scared. He glanced around, saw what she already knew. Nobody was coming. Nobody was watching. Nobody cared. He pulled her toward him. Not violently. Almost gently. Like he was leading her in a dance she never agreed to. Come here, he said. Just for a minute. She planted her feet. Pulled back hard. His grip tightened. Stop fighting, he said. The calm in his voice was cracking now. Irritation bleeding through. You're just making it worse. She opened her mouth to scream. His other hand clamped over it before the sound could fully form. Not aggressive. Controlled. Practiced. He'd done this before. Sure, he whispered. None of that. His face was close to hers now. She could smell cigarettes and something sour on his breath. You're going to come with me, he said quietly. We're going to walk into that alley right there. And you're going to be very quiet. Understand? She shook her head frantically. Tried to bite his hand. He pressed harder. Understand? He repeated. He started pulling her backward toward the alley. She dug her heels in, tried to twist away. He was too strong. Her phone fell from her other hand, clattered on the sidewalk. Damn it, he muttered. Leave it. She reached for it anyway. He yanked her back hard. This time it hurt. Leave it, he snapped. The calm was gone now. This was the real him. Angry, impatient, dangerous. She tried to scream again through his hand. The sound came out muffled, useless. They were at the mouth of the alley now. The darkness swallowed them both. He shoved her against the brick wall, used his body to pin her there. His hand was still over her mouth. The other one was on her throat now. Not choking. Not yet. Just resting there. A promise. A threat. I'm going to move my hand, he said. And you're not going to scream. Because if you scream, this gets a lot worse. Do you understand me? She couldn't nod. Couldn't breathe properly. Tears were streaming down her face now. He took her silence as agreement. His hand moved away from her mouth slowly. She sucked in air. Please, she whispered. Please don't. He leaned in closer. Don't what? He asked. She couldn't say it. Couldn't make the words real by speaking them out loud. Please, she said again. I won't tell anyone. I'll just go home. I promise. He laughed quietly. You think I'm worried about that? His hand slid from her throat to her shoulder. Then lower. She flinched. Closed her eyes. This was happening. This was really happening. Then she heard footsteps. Not hers. Not his. Someone else's. Slow. Steady. Deliberate. The man heard them too. His head snapped toward the alley entrance. His grip on her loosened just slightly. A figure appeared at the mouth of the alley, backlit by the streetlight. Tall. Broad. Standing perfectly still. The man holding her squinted into the darkness. Who the hell are you? He demanded. The figure didn't answer right away. Just stood there. Watching. Assessing. The man's hand tightened on her shoulder again. This doesn't concern you, he called out. Keep walking. The figure took a step forward into the alley. The light caught his face now. Strong jaw. Short hair. Eyes that looked like they'd seen things most people only have nightmares about. Let her go, the newcomer said. His voice was quiet. Calm. Controlled. But there was something underneath it. Something cold and absolute. The man holding her laughed. Are you serious right now? Yeah, the newcomer said. I'm serious. The man looked between the newcomer and her, calculating. Then he smiled. This is my girlfriend, man. We're just having a disagreement. No, she said immediately. No, I don't know him. He grabbed me. The man's hand clamped over her mouth again. She's drunk, he said to the newcomer. She doesn't know what she's saying. The newcomer took another step forward. I'm going to say this one more time, he said. Let her go. The man's confidence wavered. Just slightly. You need to mind your business, he said, before you get hurt. The newcomer's expression didn't change. I'm not going to get hurt, he said. There was no bravado in his voice. No posturing. Just a simple statement of fact. The man holding her tensed. She could feel it in his grip, in the way his body pressed against hers. He was deciding something, weighing his options. Then he made his choice. He shoved her aside, hard. She hit the wall and crumpled to the ground. Stay down, he told her. Then he turned to face the newcomer fully. You made a mistake, he said. Did I? The newcomer asked. The man rushed him. It was fast, violent, the kind of attack meant to overwhelm through sheer aggression. It didn't work. The newcomer sidestepped smoothly, almost casually. The man stumbled past him, off balance. Before he could recover, the newcomer's hand was on the back of his neck. A precise movement. Controlled. The man went down face first onto the concrete. Hard. He tried to get up. The newcomer's knee was on his back, pinning him. One arm was twisted behind him at an angle that made the woman wince even through her fear. Don't move, the newcomer said quietly. The man struggled anyway. Thrashed. Cursed. The newcomer applied more pressure. The man screamed. Stop, he gasped. Stop, you're breaking it. I said don't move, the newcomer repeated. The struggling stopped. The newcomer looked over at her then. His expression softened. Just slightly. You okay? He asked. She was shaking. Crying. But she nodded. Did he hurt you? She shook her head. Not really, she whispered. Just scared. He nodded once. That's over now. She believed him. Something about the way he said it. The certainty. The man beneath him started talking. Fast. Desperate. Look, man, this is all a misunderstanding. I wasn't going to do anything. The newcomer's jaw tightened. You had your hand over her mouth. She said she didn't know you. The newcomer continued. She said you grabbed her. The man tried to twist his head to look up. She's lying, he insisted. Why would she lie? The newcomer asked. The man didn't have an answer for that. The silence stretched out. Then the newcomer spoke again. What's your name? The man hesitated. What? What's your name? The newcomer repeated. Jason, the man said. Okay, Jason, the newcomer said. I'm going to explain something to you. He shifted his weight slightly. The man gasped in pain. See this? The newcomer asked. Right now I have control of your shoulder. If I wanted to, I could dislocate it. Would take about 2 seconds. The amount of force required is actually pretty minimal once you know where to apply it. The man's breathing quickened. You feel that? The newcomer asked. That's your rotator cuff. I could tear it right now. You'd need surgery. Months of physical therapy. Might never get full range of motion back. Please, the man whispered. I'm not going to do that, the newcomer said. But I want you to understand that I could. I want you to understand that every single second right now, you're only okay because I'm choosing to let you be okay. Do you understand? Yes, the man said quickly. Yes, I understand. Good, the newcomer said. Now I'm going to ask you some questions, and you're going to answer honestly. Because if I think you're lying to me, we're going to revisit that conversation about your shoulder. The man nodded as much as he could with his face pressed against the ground. What were you planning to do to her? The newcomer asked. Nothing, the man said immediately. The newcomer applied pressure. The man screamed. Wrong answer, the newcomer said calmly. Try again. What were you planning to do to her? I don't know, the man sobbed. I just wanted to talk. You don't drag someone into an alley to talk, the newcomer said. You don't cover their mouth to talk. So I'll ask one more time. What were you planning to do? The man was crying now, full on sobbing. I don't know, he kept saying. I don't know, I don't know. The newcomer looked at the woman again. His eyes asked a silent question. She understood. She nodded. He was dragging me into the alley, she said. Her voice was stronger now. He said he was going to. She paused. She couldn't finish. The newcomer's expression darkened. He looked back down at the man beneath him. Is that true? He asked. No, the man said. She's lying. I already told you. The newcomer's free hand reached into his pocket. He pulled out his phone. The man's eyes widened. What are you doing? He asked. Calling the police, the newcomer said. No, the man said quickly. No, come on, man. There's no need for that. The newcomer didn't respond. Just started dialing. The man started struggling again. Harder this time. Desperate. Wait, he shouted. Just wait. The newcomer paused. The man was panting now. I'll leave, he said. I'll leave right now. I'll never come back to this neighborhood. You'll never see me again. Just let me go. The newcomer looked at him for a long moment. Then he spoke. You know what the problem is with that? The man didn't answer. The problem is, the newcomer continued, you'll just do this somewhere else. To someone else. Someone who might not have anyone to help them. The man shook his head frantically. No, he said. No, I won't. I swear. You will, the newcomer said. Because men like you don't stop. You just get better at not getting caught. He finished dialing. Put the phone to his ear. The man started screaming. Please, he begged. Please don't do this. I have a family. I have kids. The newcomer's expression didn't change. You should have thought about that, he said. Then someone answered on the other end. The newcomer's voice shifted. Professional. Detached. Yes, I need to report an assault in progress. He gave the address. Described the situation in clear, concise terms. The man kept begging the entire time. The newcomer ignored him. When he hung up, he looked at the woman. They're 5 minutes out, he said. You okay to wait? She nodded. Thank you, she whispered. Don't thank me yet, he said. You're going to need to give a statement. Tell them everything. Every detail. No matter how small it seems. She nodded again. The man had gone quiet now. Defeated. Broken. The newcomer kept him pinned anyway. They waited in silence. The woman pulled her knees to her chest. Tried to stop shaking. Failed. After what felt like hours, but was probably only 3 minutes, sirens echoed in the distance. Getting closer. The man started crying again. My life is over, he muttered. The newcomer looked down at him. Your life? He asked. His voice was cold now. Angry for the first time. You were about to destroy hers. The man didn't respond. The sirens were louder now. Red and blue lights painted the alley walls. The newcomer stayed perfectly still, keeping the man restrained until uniformed officers appeared at the alley entrance. Hands where we can see them, one of them called out. Both of you. The newcomer raised his free hand slowly. His other one stayed on the man's arm. I'm the one who called, he said calmly. This man assaulted this woman. I intervened. The officers approached carefully. Hands up, the first one repeated. Sir, I need you to step back from him. The newcomer didn't move. I'm a SEAL, he said. I know how to restrain someone without hurting them. He's not injured. The officers exchanged glances. Sir, the second one said, we need you to step back. Now. The newcomer looked at the woman one more time. She nodded. He released the man's arm and stood up slowly. Hands visible, non-threatening. The man immediately tried to scramble away. The officers were on him in seconds. Hands behind your back, one commanded. The man complied. He didn't have a choice anymore. They cuffed him, pulled him to his feet. He was still crying. One of the officers turned to the newcomer. You said you're a SEAL? The newcomer nodded. Active duty? Not anymore, he said. The officer's posture shifted slightly. Respectful. Understood, he said. We're still going to need your statement. Of course, the newcomer said. Another officer was approaching the woman now. Gentle. Careful. Ma'am, she said. Can you tell me what happened? The woman's voice shook as she started explaining. The officer listened, took notes, asked clarifying questions. The man in cuffs was being led toward a patrol car. He looked back at the newcomer one last time. His face twisted with rage. This isn't over, he spat. The newcomer met his eyes. Yes, he said quietly. It is. The officer nearest the man shoved him forward. Keep walking. They put him in the back of the car. Shut the door on his protests. The woman finished her statement. The officer thanked her, told her she was very brave. She didn't feel brave. She felt numb. The newcomer was giving his statement to another officer now, speaking in that same calm, measured tone, describing what he saw, what he did, why he did it. The officer was nodding, writing everything down. When he finished, the officer looked up. You did good tonight, he said. The newcomer shrugged. I did what anyone should do. The officer shook his head. Most people don't, he said. They see something and they walk away. Pretend they didn't see it. The newcomer didn't respond to that. The officer closed his notebook. We'll be in touch if we need anything else, he said. You're free to go. The newcomer nodded. He walked over to where the woman was sitting on the bumper of an ambulance. A paramedic was checking her over. Any injuries? The paramedic asked. Just some scrapes from where I fell, the woman said. The paramedic nodded. We'll get you cleaned up. The newcomer waited until the paramedic finished. Then he looked at her. You did good, he said. She let out a shaky laugh. I didn't do anything. Yes, you did, he said. You fought. You tried to get away. You told the truth. That's not nothing. She looked up at him. Her eyes were red from crying. Who are you? She asked. He smiled slightly. Just someone who was walking by. No, she said. I mean it. Who are you? How did you? She gestured vaguely. Do all that. He sat down next to her, careful to maintain distance. Respectful. I was in the Navy, he said. Special operations. They teach you things. How to assess threats. How to neutralize them. How to stay calm when everything's going wrong. She nodded slowly. You saved my life, she said. He shook his head. I stopped something bad from happening. That's not the same thing. It is to me, she said. They sat in silence for a moment. Then she spoke again. I have a brother, she said. He's always worried about me. Always texting to make sure I got home safe. I used to think he was being overprotective. The newcomer looked at her. Now, he asked. Now I'm going to call him the second I get home, she said. Tell him he was right. That I should have been more careful. The newcomer frowned. You didn't do anything wrong, he said. You were walking home. That's not a crime. It shouldn't be dangerous. But it is, she said. He couldn't argue with that. The ambulance was packing up now. The officers were finishing their paperwork. The patrol car with the man inside was pulling away. The woman watched it go. What happens to him now? She asked. The newcomer shrugged. Depends. If you press charges, he'll be arraigned. Probably make bail. Then there's a trial. Lawyers. Testimony. It's a process. She swallowed. Will they believe me? He looked at her seriously. I'll testify, he said. I'll tell them exactly what I saw. What he was doing. What you said. She nodded. Thank you, she said again. He stood up. Offered his hand. She took it. He pulled her to her feet. You should get home, he said. Is there someone who can come get you? My roommate, she said. I can call her. Good, he said. Don't walk alone. Not tonight. Maybe not for a while. She nodded. She pulled out her phone with shaking hands. Started to dial. Then she stopped. Wait, she said. I don't even know your name. He hesitated. Then he told her. She repeated it. Committed it to memory. I'm never going to forget this, she said. Were you? He gave a small nod. Just be safe, he said. Get home. Lock your doors. And don't let this make you afraid to live your life. She wanted to ask how. How do you not let something like this change you? But he was already walking away, hands in his pockets. Casual. Like he hadn't just stopped an assault. Like he did this sort of thing every day. Maybe he did. She watched him until he disappeared around the corner. Her roommate arrived 10 minutes later. Freaked out. Asking a million questions. Hugging her too tight. The woman explained everything. The roommate's face cycled through shock, rage, relief. Who was the guy who helped you? She asked. The woman told her his name. Described him. The roommate pulled out her phone. Started searching. Found him. Oh my God, she said. Do you know who he is? The woman shook her head. The roommate turned the phone around. It was a news article. 3 years old. The man's face stared out from the screen. Younger. In uniform. The headline read, Local Navy SEAL returns home after decorated service. The article detailed his deployments, his medals, his commendations. The woman stared at it. He didn't tell me any of that, she said. Why would he? The roommate asked. Guys like that don't brag. They just act. The woman read the article twice. Then she put the phone down. They drove home in silence. The woman kept replaying the night in her head. Every moment. Every choice. What if he hadn't been there? What if no one had come? The question spiraled. Her roommate must have sensed it. You're safe, she said. You're okay. That's what matters. The woman nodded. But she didn't feel okay. She felt fractured. Like something fundamental had broken, and she didn't know if it would heal right. At home, she showered. Scrubbed her skin raw, trying to wash away the feeling of his hands on her. His breath on her face. His weight pinning her to the wall. The water ran cold before she finally got out. She looked at herself in the mirror. Same face. Same body. But different somehow. Changed. She dried off. Got dressed. Sat on her bed. Picked up her phone. She needed to call her brother. But what would she say? She started typing a text instead. Hey, are you awake? The response came immediately. Yeah. What's up? She stared at the screen. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Something happened tonight, she typed. Then deleted it. Started over. I'm okay, but I need to tell you something. Deleted that too. This was impossible. How do you tell someone you love that they were right to worry? That their worst fears almost came true? Her phone rang. Her brother's name flashed on the screen. He must have known something was wrong from the late text. She answered. Hey, she said. Her voice cracked on the single syllable. What's wrong? He asked immediately. She started crying. Just completely broke down. Couldn't stop. Her brother stayed silent on the other end. Patient. Waiting. When she could finally breathe again, she told him everything. Every horrible detail. He listened without interrupting. When she finished, there was a long pause. Then he spoke. His voice was tight. Controlled. Are you safe right now? Yes, she said. I'm home. Roommate's here. Doors are locked. Okay, he said. Okay, good. Another pause. I'm coming over. No, she said quickly. It's late. You don't need to. I'm already getting dressed, he said. I'll be there in 20 minutes. She didn't argue. She needed him. Needed to see him. To prove to both of them that she was really okay. He showed up in 15. Must have broken every speed limit. He hugged her so hard she couldn't breathe. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, she said. I should have been there, he said. I should have walked you home. I should have. She put her hand over his mouth. Stop, she said. You couldn't have known. He pulled back. Looked at her face. His jaw was clenched so tight, she could see the muscle jumping. Tell me his name, he said. The guy who grabbed you. Tell me his name. She shook her head. The police have him. It's over. It's not over, he said. Not for me. She grabbed his arm. Yes, it is, she said firmly. Because someone stopped it. Someone helped. That's what matters. He took a deep breath. Who? He asked. Who helped? She told him about the man. The newcomer. What he did. How he stayed calm. How he protected her until the police arrived. Her brother listened. Then he asked for the name. She told him. He pulled out his phone. Found the same article her roommate had found. Read it in silence. Then he looked at his sister. Do you know where he lives? No, she said. Why? Because I need to thank him, her brother said. She could see it in his eyes, though. It wasn't just gratitude. It was something deeper. A debt that couldn't be repaid with words. I want to find him too, she admitted. I want to thank him properly. But I don't know how. Her brother nodded. We'll figure it out, he said. Together. They sat up talking until dawn. Her roommate made tea. Sat with them. They didn't talk about the assault. They talked about everything else. Normal things. Small things. Like maybe if they filled the space with enough ordinary words, it would push out the bad ones. The terrible ones. The ones that would replay in her nightmares for months. When the sun came up, her brother finally left. Made her promise to call if she needed anything. Anything at all. She promised. Then she collapsed into bed and slept dreamlessly for 4 hours. When she woke up, she felt hollowed out. Empty, but alive. She made coffee, opened her laptop, started searching for the man who'd saved her. Found his social media. Private. His work information. Vague. A P.O. box for an address. Nothing useful. She called the police station instead. Asked for the officer who'd taken her statement. Waited on hold for 10 minutes. When he finally picked up, she explained what she wanted. The officer was sympathetic but firm. I can't give out personal information, he said. Even to thank someone. She asked. Especially to thank someone, he said. Privacy laws. I understand. She hung up. Sat back. Thought. There had to be a way. 3 days later, the local news ran a story. Woman saved from assault by former Navy SEAL. Her face was blurred. Her name withheld. But the man's wasn't. They'd tracked him down. Asked for an interview. He'd declined. But they ran the story anyway. Hero veteran stops attack. She watched it 3 times. Memorized every word. Then she saw it. At the end, the reporter mentioned a veterans support group that met every Thursday at the community center downtown. The man had been a regular attendee before his deployment. She showed up that Thursday. Sat in her car outside for 20 minutes trying to work up the courage. Finally walked in. The meeting was in a small room. Folding chairs arranged in a circle. A dozen men and women. Various ages. All with that same look in their eyes. The one that said they'd seen things. Done things. Carried things. She stood in the doorway. Someone noticed her. Can we help you? A woman asked. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Tried again. I'm looking for someone, she said. The woman smiled gently. Aren't we all? She said. Who specifically? She said his name. The room went quiet. Everyone looked at each other. Then a man stood up from the far side of the circle. It was him. The newcomer. Except here he wasn't a newcomer. He was one of them. He looked at her. Recognition flashed across his face. Hey, he said. She couldn't speak. Just stood there. Tears streaming down her face. He walked over. Slow. Careful. Like approaching a wounded animal. You doing okay? He asked. She nodded. Wiped her eyes. I wanted to thank you, she managed. You already did, he said. Not properly, she said. Not the way you deserve. He shook his head. You don't owe me anything. Yes, I do, she said. You saved me. I told you before, he said. I just stopped something bad. That's all. To you maybe, she said. To me it's everything. The other people in the group were watching now. One of them, an older man with gray in his beard, spoke up. You the girl from the news? He asked. She nodded. The man looked at the newcomer. You didn't tell us about that. Wasn't worth mentioning, the newcomer said. The hell it wasn't, another voice said. A woman with a scar running down her cheek. You did good. The newcomer shrugged. Anyone would have done the same. But they didn't, the woman said. You did. The newcomer looked uncomfortable now. Shifted his weight. Changed the subject. Do you want to sit? He asked her. The meeting just started. She shook her head. I don't want to intrude. You're not, he said. If you want to stay, you can stay. She looked around the circle. Everyone was nodding. Welcoming. She sat down. The meeting continued. People shared stories. Struggles. Victories. She just listened. Absorbed. When it ended, people came up to her. Offered kind words. Told her she was brave. She didn't feel brave. The newcomer waited until everyone else had left. Then he approached her again. You sure you're okay? He asked. I don't sleep well, she admitted. Every time I close my eyes I see him. That's normal, he said. After something like that. Doesn't feel normal, she said. Give it time, he said. And if it doesn't get better, talk to someone. A professional. She nodded. Are you? She asked. Am I what? Talking to someone. He smiled slightly. That's why I come here, he said. They walked out together. The parking lot was nearly empty. She stopped by her car. Can I ask you something? She said. Sure. Why did you help me? She asked. You didn't know me. You didn't know me anything. He was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke. I have a sister, he said. She's about your age. And every time I see her, I think about all the times I wasn't there. All the times I was deployed. Overseas. Fighting battles that felt important in the moment, but now, he trailed off. Now what? She prompted. Now I wonder if I was protecting the wrong people. He finished. She didn't know what to say to that. Thank you, she said instead. For having a sister. For caring. For being there when it mattered. He nodded. Take care of yourself, he said. You too, she replied. She watched him walk to his truck. Climb in. Drive away. She stood there for a long time after he was gone. Then she got in her own car. Drove home. And for the first time since it happened, she felt like maybe she could breathe again. The trial was 6 months later. She testified. Told the jury exactly what happened. How scared she was. What he said. What he did. The defense attorney tried to poke holes in her story. Suggested she'd been drinking. That she'd led him on. That she was lying. She held firm. Then they called the newcomer to the stand. He walked up. Swore to tell the truth. Sat down. He described what he saw in precise, unflinching detail. The defense attorney tried the same tactics. Suggested he'd misunderstood. That he'd overreacted. The newcomer looked at the attorney. Then he spoke. I was trained to assess threats, he said. To determine intent. To read body language and behavior. I've been in combat zones where hesitation means death. I know what predatory behavior looks like. And that man, he pointed at the defendant, was hunting her. The courtroom was silent. The defense attorney tried to continue. The newcomer cut him off. She said no, he said. She tried to get away. He physically restrained her, covered her mouth, dragged her into an alley. There is no misunderstanding that. There is no gray area. He knew exactly what he was doing. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Found him guilty on all counts. Assault. Attempted sexual assault. Unlawful restraint. The woman cried when the verdict was read. The newcomer nodded once from the gallery. The sentencing was a month later. The judge gave him 8 years. Eligible for parole after 5. The woman thought it should have been more. But at least it was something. At least he couldn't hurt anyone else for a while. At least there was accountability. After the sentencing, she found the newcomer in the hallway outside the courtroom. Thank you, she said, for testifying. Of course, he said. She took a breath. I'm okay now, she said. I'm getting better. Good, he said. I still have nightmares sometimes, she admitted. But they're getting less frequent. And I'm walking again at night. Not alone. But I'm not letting him take that from me. He smiled. That's good. That's really good. I joined a support group, she continued. For survivors. It helps. I'm glad, he said. She nodded. Then she said something she'd been practicing for weeks. You know you didn't just save me that night, she said. You saved whoever else he would have hurt. However many women he would have gone after if you hadn't stopped him. He shook his head. You can't think about it like that. Why not? She asked. Because you'll drive yourself crazy, he said. Thinking about all the what-ifs. All the maybes. You just do what's in front of you in the moment. That's all anyone can do. She understood what he meant. But she also knew he was wrong. What he did mattered. It rippled out. Changed things. Saved things. He just couldn't see it because he was too close. Too humble. Too used to being the person who acted instead of the person who got thanked. Her brother appeared then from inside the courtroom. Walked over. Looked at the newcomer. Extended his hand. The newcomer shook it. I never got to thank you properly, her brother said. His voice was thick. You don't need to, the newcomer replied. Yes, I do, her brother said. She's my sister. My only sister. And you kept her safe when I couldn't. The newcomer met his eyes. She kept herself safe, he said. I just made sure she had the chance to. Her brother nodded. Didn't let go of his hand. If you ever need anything, he said. Anything at all. You call me. Understand? The newcomer smiled slightly. I will. Her brother finally released his grip. Stepped back. Put his arm around his sister. The newcomer looked at them both. You've got good people around you, he said to her. Hold on to that. She nodded. You too, she said. He gave a small wave. Then he turned and walked down the courthouse steps. Disappeared into the crowd on the sidewalk below. Her brother watched him go. That's the kind of man I want to be, he said quietly. She squeezed his arm. You already are, she said. They stood there for another minute. Then they left too. Went to lunch. Celebrated the verdict. Tried to feel normal again. It was getting easier. Slowly. Day by day. A year later, she was walking home from work. Different neighborhood now. She'd moved after the trial. Needed a fresh start. It was early evening. Still light out. She had headphones in. Music playing. Not paying attention the way she should have been. A hand touched her shoulder. She spun around, heart racing. Fight or flight kicking in immediately. It was a woman. Older. Gray hair. Kind eyes. I'm sorry, the woman said quickly. I didn't mean to startle you. She took a breath. Tried to calm down. It's okay, she said. What do you need? The woman smiled. I just wanted to say thank you. For what? She asked. For speaking at that conference last month, the woman said. About your experience. About surviving. My daughter was there. She heard you, and it helped her finally report what happened to her. The woman's eyes were shining now. She'd been holding it in for 2 years, too scared to say anything. But after hearing you, she found the courage. The woman reached out, squeezed her hand. So thank you for being brave enough to share your story. She didn't know what to say. She'd given that speech on a whim. Her support group leader had asked. She'd almost said no, almost let the fear win. But she'd thought about the newcomer, about how he'd acted when it mattered. And she'd said yes. You're welcome, she managed. Tell your daughter I'm proud of her. The woman nodded, walked away. She stood there on the sidewalk, people moving around her, life happening. And she realized something. The ripples didn't stop. They kept going, kept spreading, touching people she'd never meet, changing things in ways she'd never see. She pulled out her phone, typed a message to the newcomer. They'd stayed in touch. Not often, just checking in every few months. Hey, she wrote. Something happened today that made me think of you. She told him about the woman, about her daughter, about the ripples. He responded an hour later. That's good. You're doing important work. She smiled, typed back. I learned from the best. His response was immediate. You learned from yourself. You always had it in you. I just gave you the chance to see it. She read that message 3 times. Then she put her phone away, kept walking, head up, aware, alert, but not afraid. Not anymore. She'd taken her life back, piece by piece, and she'd helped others do the same. That's what mattered. That's what lasted. Not the fear, not the trauma, the choice to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep being brave, even when everything in you screamed to hide. 2 years after that, she got a call from an unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Hello? This is Lieutenant Commander Harris, a male voice said. United States Navy. I'm trying to reach someone who knows Daniel Mitchell. That was the newcomer's name. Yes, she said. I know him. Is he okay? There was a pause. He's been injured, the voice said. Training accident. He's stable, but he's asking for visitors. He specifically mentioned your name. Her heart dropped. Where is he? Naval Medical Center, the voice said. San Diego. I'll be there, she said. She booked a flight that night. Landed the next morning. Took a cab straight to the hospital. Asked for his room number. The nurse directed her to the 4th floor. She found the room. Knocked softly. Come in, his voice called. She opened the door. He was in bed. Bandages on his shoulder and chest. Bruises on his face. But he was smiling. You came, he said. Of course I came, she said. She walked over. Sat in the chair next to his bed. What happened? Training exercise, he said. Parachute malfunction. Hit the ground harder than planned. You should see the other guy, he added. She didn't laugh. This isn't funny. I know, he said. His smile faded. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to worry you. Too late, she said. He looked at her. Really looked. You're different, he said. How? She asked. Stronger, he said. More sure of yourself. She shrugged. I had a good teacher. He shook his head. I didn't teach you anything. You just reminded me I could fight, she said. That I was worth fighting for. He was quiet for a moment. Everyone's worth fighting for, he said finally. I know that now, she said. That's why I do what I do. Tell me, he said. So she did. She told him about the speaking engagements, the support groups she'd started, the women she'd helped, the legislation she was working to change. The whole time he listened, didn't interrupt, just absorbed. When she finished, he nodded. I'm proud of you, he said. She felt tears prick her eyes. That means a lot, she said. He reached out with his good arm, took her hand. You took something terrible and made it matter, he said. That takes real courage. You did the same thing, she pointed out. Every day in the field. He shook his head. That was my job. This is different. This is choice. She squeezed his hand. We both made choices that night, she said. You chose to help. I chose to survive. Those choices changed everything. They sat like that for a while, just holding hands. 2 people who'd been strangers, who'd met in the worst possible moment, and who'd somehow become family through it. A nurse came in eventually, checked his vitals, told him he needed rest. The woman stood. I should go, she said. Let you sleep. Come back tomorrow? He asked. She smiled. I'm not going anywhere, she said. I'll be here every day until they release you. You don't have to do that. I know, she said, but I want to. She came back every day for 2 weeks. Brought him books. Terrible hospital food from the cafeteria that somehow tasted better when shared. Stories about her work. Updates on the trial aftermath. The defendant had lost his appeal. Was serving his full sentence. Good, the newcomer had said. That's how it should be. They talked about everything. His deployments. Her childhood. His family. Her plans. Things they'd never discussed before. Deeper things. Real things. On the last day before his discharge, she asked him a question she'd been holding on to. Why did you give them my name? For the visitor list. He looked at her. Because you're the only person who would understand, he said. Understand what? That sometimes you need someone who's been through fire with you, he said. Someone who knows what it's like to face the worst and come through it. My family would have worried. My buddies would have made jokes to cover their concern. But you, he paused. I'd just be real, she finished. He nodded. Yeah, she understood. She'd felt the same way. There was a bond between them that didn't need explaining. Forged in crisis. Tempered by survival. Strengthened by choice. When they released him 3 days later, she drove him home. Helped him get settled. Made sure he had groceries. Someone to check on him. You're being overprotective, he said. Good, she replied. Now you know how it feels. He laughed, then winced. Laughing hurt. Sorry, she said. Don't be, he said. It's good to laugh. She left that evening. Flew home. Back to her life. Her work. But they stayed close. Talked regularly. He recovered fully. Returned to training. Eventually to deployment. She continued her advocacy. Expanded her reach. Helped more people. Changed more lives. Years passed. The anniversary of that night came and went. Each year a little easier. Each year a little further from the fear. Each year closer to peace. 5 years after the trial, she got married. To a good man. Someone her brother approved of. Someone who knew her story and loved her anyway. The newcomer couldn't make it to the wedding. He was overseas. But he sent a video message. She watched it the night before. He was in uniform. Somewhere sandy and hot. I can't be there tomorrow, he said. But I want you to know how happy I am for you. You deserve every bit of joy that's coming your way. And I want you to remember something. That night 5 years ago doesn't define you. What you did after does. You took your pain and turned it into purpose. Your fear and turned it into strength. That's who you are. That's who you've always been. I'm honored to know you. Congratulations. She cried watching it. Showed it to her fiancé. He held her. This is the guy? He asked. The one who saved you? She nodded. He's a good man, her fiancé said. The best, she agreed. Her wedding day was perfect. Beautiful. Her brother walked her down the aisle. Her father wiped tears. Her mother couldn't stop smiling. And in her bouquet, tucked among the flowers, was a small Navy SEAL trident pin. The newcomer had mailed it to her. A gift. A symbol. A reminder. 2 years after that, she had a daughter. Named her Hope. Because that's what she represented. The future. The good that comes after the bad. The light that follows darkness. When Hope was 3 months old, the newcomer came to visit. He'd rotated back stateside. Transferred to a training command. More stable. Safer. He held Hope carefully. Like she might break. She's perfect, he said. She looks like you. Thank God for that. Her husband joked. The newcomer stayed for dinner. Played with Hope. Told stories that made everyone laugh. When he left that night, she walked him to his truck. Thank you, she said. For what? For everything, she said. For that night. For testifying. For staying in my life. For being you. He hugged her, careful of the baby in her arms. You don't need to thank me, he said. Yes, I do, she said. Because I never would have gotten here without you. Without that moment. Without your choice to help. He pulled back. Looked at her seriously. You would have, he said. Maybe not the same path. Maybe not the same timeline. But you would have found your way. Because that's who you are. She wanted to argue. But she also knew he believed it. And maybe that was enough. He got in his truck. Rolled down the window. Take care of that little one, he said. We will, she promised. And take care of yourself. Always, he said. She watched him drive away. Then she went inside. Locked the doors. Put Hope to bed. Kissed her husband goodnight. And slept peacefully. No nightmares. No fear. Just rest. 10 years after that night in the alley, She was invited to speak at a conference for veterans transitioning to civilian life. The topic was finding purpose after service. She almost said no. She wasn't a veteran. What could she offer? But then she thought about it differently. About what she'd learned. About how trauma changes you. About how you rebuild. She said yes. The newcomer was in the audience. She didn't know until she walked on stage and saw him in the third row. Their eyes met. He nodded. She smiled. She gave her speech. Talked about that night. About fear. About survival. About the choice to keep going. About turning pain into purpose. About the importance of showing up. Of acting. Of not walking away when someone needs help. When she finished, the room was silent. Then someone started clapping. Then another. Then everyone. Standing ovation. She looked at the newcomer. He was standing too. Clapping. Pride written all over his face. Afterwards, people crowded around her. Asked questions. Shared their stories. Thanked her. The newcomer waited until the crowd cleared. Then he approached. That was incredible, he said. Thank you, she said. I meant every word. I know, he said. That's why it mattered. They grabbed coffee in the hotel lobby. Caught up. He'd retired from the Navy. Was working with at-risk youth now. Teaching them discipline. Self-defense. Confidence. She loved that. It fit him perfectly. You're still saving people, she said. Just in a different way. He shrugged. Trying to. Some of these kids, they've been through things. Bad things. They need to know they can fight back. That they're not helpless. She nodded. That's what you taught me. He looked at her. No, he said. You already knew it. I just reminded you. They argued about that for a while. Neither won. But it didn't matter. They both knew the truth. They'd saved each other in different ways. Different times. That's how it worked. When they said goodbye that day, she hugged him tight. Thank you, she whispered one more time. He hugged her back. Thank you too, he said. For what? For showing me that what I did mattered, he said. For proving that one moment can change everything. For being living proof that good wins sometimes. She pulled back. Good doesn't always win, she said. But it won that night. Because of you. He smiled. Because of us. She watched him walk away for what felt like the 100th time. Each time a little easier. Each time with a little more certainty that they'd see each other again. Because that's what they did. They showed up. They stayed. They mattered to each other in ways that didn't need constant contact or daily updates. Just presence. Just knowing. Just being there when it counted. 15 years later, she was teaching a self-defense class at a community center. 20 women. All ages. All backgrounds. All there because they'd heard her speak. Or read her book. Or seen her interview. Or knew someone who knew someone. She taught them the basics. How to stand. How to yell. How to run. How to fight if running wasn't an option. But mostly she taught them something else. That they were worth defending. Worth fighting for. Worth saving. A young woman stayed after class. Early 20s. Nervous. Picking at her nails. The woman recognized the look. Can I help you? She asked gently. The young woman took a breath. Something happened to me, she said. 6 months ago. I haven't told anyone. But I saw you speak last year, and I thought. She trailed off. You thought maybe you could tell me, the woman finished. The young woman nodded. Tears streaming down her face. The woman sat down. Patted the chair next to her. Tell me, she said. I'm listening. The young woman talked for an hour. Let it all out. Every terrible detail. Every moment of fear. Every second of pain. The woman listened. Didn't judge. Didn't interrupt. Just witnessed. When the young woman finally finished, she looked up. What do I do now? She asked. Now, the woman said. You decide. You decide if you want to report it. You decide if you want to press charges. You decide who you tell and when. You decide how you heal. This is yours to control. No one else's. The young woman wiped her face. What did you do? The woman told her. About the trial. The testimony. The advocacy. But I also told her about the nightmares. The therapy. The hard days. The setbacks. It's not a straight line, she said. Healing isn't neat. But it happens if you let it. The young woman nodded. I want to fight back, she said. Good, the woman said. Then let's make a plan. They sat there for another hour. Mapping it out. Resources. Options. Next steps. When the young woman left, she looked different. Still scared. Still hurt. But also determined. Angry in a good way. Ready. The woman called the newcomer that night. Told him about it. He listened quietly. You're doing good work, he said. I learned from the best, she replied. He laughed. We're going to keep saying that to each other forever, aren't we? Probably, she said. I'm okay with that. Me too, he said. They talked for another 30 minutes. About nothing important. Just life. Updates. Small things. When they hung up, she felt settled. Grounded. Connected to something bigger than herself. 20 years after that night in the alley, they organized a fundraiser. Her nonprofit. His youth program. Combined forces. The event was huge. Hundreds of people. Survivors. Veterans. Families. Supporters. The newcomer gave a speech about service. About showing up. About doing the right thing even when it's hard. She gave one about resilience. About refusing to let violence win. About building something beautiful from something broken. Together, they raised enough money to fund both programs for 2 years. To help hundreds of people. To change countless lives. At the end of the night, they stood together on the stage, looking out at the crowd. All these people who'd come together because two strangers had made choices in an alley 15 years ago. Because one person had decided to help, and another had decided to survive. And both had decided to turn that moment into something that mattered. This is what ripples look like, she said quietly. He nodded. Yeah, he said. I guess it is. Someone in the crowd shouted for a photo. They obliged. Arms around each other. Smiling. The camera flashed. That photo would end up in newspapers. On websites. In presentations. Two people who'd faced darkness and chosen light. Who'd taken the worst night of their lives and transformed it into purpose. Into healing. Into hope. The caption would read former Navy SEAL and assault survivor turned tragedy into triumph. But that didn't capture it. Not really. Because it wasn't about triumph. It was about choice. About showing up. About refusing to let fear win. That night, after everyone left, they sat in the empty venue. Just the two of them. Folding chairs scattered around. Decorations still hanging. You ever think about that night? She asked. Sometimes, he said. You? Less than I used to, she said. But yeah, sometimes. What do you think about? He asked. She considered the question. I think about how scared I was, she said. How helpless I felt. How certain I was that no one would help. And then you did. She paused. I think about how one person can change everything. He was quiet for a moment. I think about timing, he said finally. How I almost didn't walk that way. How I almost stayed home that night. How everything had to line up exactly right for me to be there at that exact moment. She nodded. Fate, she said. Or luck. Or God. Or whatever you want to call it. He shook his head. I don't believe in that, he said. I believe in choice. You chose to walk down that street. I chose to intervene. That's what mattered. Not fate. Choice. She smiled. Still so stubborn. Still so practical. Always, he said. They sat in comfortable silence. 2 decades of friendship. Of shared history. Of mutual respect. She broke the silence first. Thank you, she said. He groaned. Are we really doing this again? We are, she said. Thank you for saving my life. He sighed dramatically. You're welcome. Now can we move on? Not yet, she said. Thank you for staying in my life. For being my friend. For showing me what real strength looks like. Now are you done? He asked. Almost, she said. Thank you for being you. He looked at her. His expression soft. Genuine. You're welcome, he said quietly. And thank you for showing me that what I did that night actually mattered. That it rippled out beyond that moment. That it changed things. She reached over. Took his hand. We changed things, she corrected. Together. He squeezed her hand. Yeah, he said. We did. They sat like that for a long time. 2 survivors. 2 fighters. 2 friends who'd found each other in the darkest moment and refused to let go. Eventually they left. Locked up the venue. Went their separate ways. Back to their lives. Their families. Their work. But they carried each other with them. Always. In the choices they made. The people they helped. The light they brought to dark places. Because that's what happens when someone shows up. When someone refuses to walk away. When someone chooses to act. It doesn't just save one person. It saves everyone that person goes on to help. Everyone they touch. Everyone they inspire. The ripples never stop. They just keep spreading. Touching shore after shore. Changing everything they meet. And that woman who was dragged toward an alley 20 years ago? She's a grandmother now. Her daughter, Hope, has a daughter of her own. 3 generations of strong women. None of them defined by violence. All of them empowered by survival. By choice. By the knowledge that they're worth fighting for. The newcomer is at the hospital when Hope's daughter is born. Holding flowers. Smiling like a proud uncle. Because that's what he is. Family. Not by blood. By choice. By shared history. By love. When he holds the baby for the first time, she whispers something. Words only he can hear. Her name is Grace, she says. Grace Mitchell. After you. His eyes get wet. He tries to hide it. Fails. You didn't have to do that, he says. I know, she says. But I wanted to. Because you gave me grace that night. You gave me a chance. You gave me life. Now I'm giving it forward. He can't speak. Just nods. Holds the baby carefully. Marvels at how something so perfect could exist. How good could come from bad. How light could follow darkness. That's the end of the story. Not because nothing else happens, but because this is where it becomes clear. What mattered wasn't just that one night. It was every day after. Every choice. Every person helped. Every life touched. One man. One woman. One alley. One choice. And everything that came from it. Everything that rippled out and changed the world in small, impossible to measure ways. That's what heroism looks like. Not in the moment. In the aftermath. In the choice to keep showing up. To keep fighting. To keep believing that one person can make a difference. If you believe people should always step in, should always help, should always choose to act when someone needs them, share this story. Tell someone. Be the person who shows up. Because you never know when one moment, one choice, one act of courage could change everything. For someone. For yourself. For the world.